Alright guys, so if you're here and watching this, you saw the thumbnail, you know this is the official why I do and don't like TPI bikes. I recently put a post on Facebook showing a blown up bike that a guy had let the oil run out of his reservoir on his TPI bike, and I said this is why I don't like TPI bikes.
Hey guys, it's Morgan from Highland Cycles coming to you with a why don't you own a TPI answer. So this gentleman, there's a TPI right over here, had a TPI and it ran out of oil in the tank because you don't mix it, and this happened. Yeah, mine doesn't do that.
It's been awesome because it's getting a ton of views and a ton of people are commenting on it, which is really, really, really good for us in the algorithm. So thank you very much. Even if you're the people yelling at me and telling me I'm stupid because it's not the bike's fault and all this stuff, because it's awesome. Every comment, every whatever is good for the internet. So thank you for that. But let me explain exactly what's going on there. First of all, I know that that specific failure was not because of the TPI. I know it had nothing to do with the computers or the sensors or the pump or any of that stuff. I'm not stupid. I know that that was 100% user error. But here's the thing. That oil pump and oil reservoir represents what I don't like about TPI. It's an overcomplication of a system that doesn't benefit from the complication. So let me put a different thing out there. So a lot of things, for instance, a motorcycle that doesn't have an electric start, right? That's not that awesome. But yes, you can kick it, and that is more simple. I do support Kickstarters 100%. But when you put electric start onto a motorcycle, the motorcycle benefits greatly from that complication. It's because you added that complication, but the benefit far outweighs the complication of having a battery and a solenoid and a button and an electric starter, right? For instance, cars, your car. They're all fuel injected, and they benefit massively from being fuel injected. You don't have to mess with anything. You don't have to rebuild carburetors. You don't have to do all that stuff because it's a car you're probably going to get hundreds of thousands of miles out of. They're so expensive these days. You don't want to be working on that kind of stuff. And it allows people to drive from sea level to 14,000 feet if you're here in Colorado, without any kind of issue, and they work great. They've also been doing it a long time and refining it a long time. Four-stroke dirt bikes. I really do feel like that they have figured out the fuel injection on four-stroke dirt bikes, and they work great. They have very few problems. When they do, it is weird problems that I don't love, but I choose to ride a two-stroke because of that simplicity. I like to have something that's really, really simple when I go way, way, way out in the woods. So if something breaks, I can kind of know what's going on and maybe fix it. So what I feel like the problem with TPI is it overcomplicates the system, and the bike does not benefit from that. They don't run as good as the carbureted bikes. I have yet to ride one that runs as good. I've ridden a few that are really, really close and run really good, but they took a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of tuning with computers and things like that. Again, complicating the system that I just don't feel like there's enough benefit behind that complication. I also have seen failures from TPIs that would not have happened on a carbureted bike. The crank pressure sensor is a weird one. When that fails, it makes the bike almost unrideable. They do run, and you can get back home, which is good, but just not run well at all. And so it's things like that. Again, I feel like there's not enough benefit to the cost of having fuel injection and all that stuff on a two-stroke. Also, I'm old. I like to just ride my stuff and have very few things go wrong or things to think about. I don't mind jetting bikes. So one thing that everybody talks about is that they don't have to jet the bike. So I really like that idea. I even have purchased Electron carburetors for that same idea. So I have spent $500 on a carburetor so that I didn't have to jet it in the past. I get that. That is actually a really, really cool thing that will come from this, but I, again, don't feel like the benefit is enough to justify all that complication behind that system. They've also made it so that the stators won't run the bike. You have to have a battery that's fully charged up and good. Now they do make the capacitor thing, and that's pretty cool. I know someone's going to mention that. I really wish they would just install that on all the bikes. You didn't have to buy aftermarket, or after the fact. I guess it's from KTM. So those are the reasons I don't like it. So that little video was, like I said, it's more about what that tank and things represent than the actual fact that you have to pour oil into it. Because it's really the same thing as just pouring oil into the gas or you pour oil into that tank. I get it. It's the same thing. But I feel like it's an overcomplication of a system that doesn't need to and is not benefited from that complication. Things that I do like about TPI bikes. I like that it has gotten people back onto two-strokes that have moved to four-strokes because they just didn't want to jet things and they didn't want to fiddle with brass and carburetors and all that stuff. And so they moved to four-strokes because they were fuel injected, but are now getting back onto two-strokes. I really, really like that. I love two-strokes so much. I really do think they're a better bike. Even a blown-up TPI is way less expensive to fix than a blown-up four-stroke. So I think that is a really, really cool thing. I really do think that KTM or some other company is going to get the fuel injection right, and they're going to make them run as good as the four-strokes do, or as good as for instance, a lot of people will say, well, the snowmobiles run really well, the boats run really well with fuel injection, and they do. There's a lot of differences there that I won't go deep into, but one of the big differences is on a boat and on a snowmobile, it's not the same load, and you don't go like through woods and over rocks and things like that on a sled or a boat. Well, definitely not on a boat. Sleds are often on the gas a lot more often than a boat, but way less often than on a dirt bike. So anyway, there's a lot of things, and obviously there's a lot more room to put sensors and things like that for sleds. There's less concern about weight. There's there's a lot going on there that doesn't make, it's not really apples to apples. And I do love the fact that TPIs are keeping two-strokes alive in Europe, and unfortunately they're not keeping them alive in California. California is outlawing them from like 22 forward. You're not going to be able to get a sticker, an off-road sticker of any kind for them, I guess in 22. So unfortunately it didn't save them for California, which sucks. But I do like the fact that they're trying to save the two-stroke in Europe, and they're trying to save the two-stroke in general for emissions. I don't personally agree with all the emissions things, but whatever, it is what it is. So I do really like that, and I really want it to be right. I just don't think it's there yet. I'm not going to buy and ride one yet. For the people who feel sad, Eric Bryan, I'm talking directly to you. Feel like I'm picking on you. I'm sorry. Maybe you need to go to a safe space. But it's all personal opinion. And honestly, if you're riding a dirt bike, then I can be friends with you. I don't care what kind of dirt bike it is. I don't care if it's a fuel-injected four-stroke. I don't care if it's a XR200. I don't care if it's a TPI, whatever. If you're riding a dirt bike, I can be your friend, and I want to be your friend. But I am going to have my own very strong opinions, and I'm going to voice them here on the internet because that's what I do. It's part of the thing as us YouTubers, if you want to call us that, we voice opinions, and I love it when it gets a big crowd of people going nuts, because it's just better for my channel. It's better for everything, really. So there you go, guys. that's a little explanation as to why I don't love TPIs and why I do like them in some ways. So I hope that's informative. I hope you guys understand. Again, zero judgment on the people who bought the TPIs. If you like that thing, awesome. If it makes you want to go out and ride your dirt bike, awesome. That's all that matters. And if I upset you with my words, who cares? Get over it. Move on. Like it's no big deal. Like life's too short to care that much about what other people think. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you get out and spread the gospel of two wheels, even if it's a fuel injected two wheels. And I desperately hope that what we're doing here at Highland Cycles is inspiring you guys to work on, maintain, and get out and ride your dirt bikes!